This is a book vlog about books that I've read in the month of August. Books I've read in the month of August. I have 4 books I've read in the month of August, and books I'm going to read in August. So, and one book in the my August read section is books I'm going to reread. So, there's that. And books that I have started a long time ago, but never actually got to reading. So, there's that. Here we go. First up is a Patricia Briggs novel. Now, Patricia Briggs is known for her Mercy Thompson series, and this is not in the same vein, but it's high fantasy. It's a sword and sorcery, magic and wizards, and medieval fighting sort of thing. And I got this in 2014, I want to say. And I did not crack it open until the beginning of August. And it took me, I want to say, 5 hours to get through. Because it is a short book. It is a short, quick read that pumps you up with the action and it doesn't stop. And I don't want to say too much about it because I love this book a lot. I loved this book a lot, and I love her other books a lot. I've read them, and I don't own them, but I've read them, and they are good books. They're top-tier supernatural books, and I have authors that I love, and Patricia Briggs is one of them. Because I'm a supernatural junkie. I'm a supernatural romance junkie. And I will read. I am a supernatural romance trash. Like supernatural romance trash. And that is what this is about. It is about a girl named... This book is about a girl named Raela. She is a runaway slave. And throughout the time that she's running, she becomes a spy and an assassin, I guess. But that's all I'm going to tell you about it. And you'll just have to read it to find out. But it has slaves, magic, demons, and a god possessing a dude. So if you like things like this, I would suggest you pick up Steal the Dragon, because it is a wonderful, wonderful book, and I love it. And maybe I'll reread it when my TBR is not so big anymore. But as you can see, it is huge because I have books in my closet that I haven't read, and I have books over there that I have not read. Though I've read the 2 under the red can, but I'm rereading one of them. So, yeah, that's one of the books that's going to be read this September. So, yeah. On to the next book. On to the next book. Yo. I don't throw my books, what the fuck, no. I don't throw my books, what the flip, no. No. The next is a book by an author we all know and love, and a book that we all probably know and love. But this is my first time reading it. And I finished it last week, or the week before last. I just haven't gotten to talk about it. because everyone and their mother has talking about this book and this book series. I'm talking about, I started Clockwork Angel in November of 2018, and I just finished it last week. And I just finished it last week, and it's, what? But this book is, go away. I am filming, go away. Okay. Yeah, someone just interrupted my filming to tell me they were going to take a nap. So, Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare is a book that I got with the entire Infernal Devices trilogy and part of the Mortal Instruments trilogy, like, septilogy? Yeah, that, because I don't know the word for that. But it's I have the first 3 novels of the Mortal Instruments series and 3 novels in this series. I just finished Clockwork Angel sometime last week or the week before last. And what can I say about this novel that anybody else has said? Except for that I guess I found it slow at the beginning. So I would start reading it and have to put it down after 2 chapters because I found it slow in the beginning. And I detested Will, I guess. My feelings of, I'm probably going to be in the minority of the fact that I detested Will in the beginning of this book so hard. I disliked Will so hard. I disliked every character except for Tess so hard. In this book, I disliked every character except for Tess in the beginning. Except for Jess and Tess. I disliked everyone except for Jess and Tess in the beginning of this book. And my opinion hasn't changed, except for I hate Nate more than I thought I would. Because who goes to London and leaves their sister after their aunt dies? Fuck you, dude. But I learned to hate Will. I didn't think I could detest a character more than I detested somebody else in another book series. But the more that I detested, I did not think I could detest someone more than I detested Severus Snape. But Nate has become one of my most hated characters in a book. And I'm not even through the entire series, so I'm probably going to have even more hate for him than I do in this book. And that's saying a lot because I hated Severus Snape throughout the entirety of the Harry Potter series. I'm sorry if there are people that love Snape, but I cannot stand the man. People say that he's a hero, but no, he's not. He was a bully throughout the entire series. He's a petty son of a bitch. And that, you can take that to the bank. No one's ever going to change my mind about hating Severus Snape. So, there's that. So, I finished this book this month. I have a serious love for Cassandra Clare. I'm rereading her City of Bones. I'm rereading one of her books now. And you're going to see the book that I'm currently reading now. But I'm rereading one of her books now. You can probably guess because I said it earlier. But yeah. I cannot say how much I love Cassandra Clare. Her writing is spot on, but this book started off really slow for me. So I had to put it down after a while, and then I picked up the Mortal Instruments series after I bought the Infernal Devices series because I've read the Mortal Instruments before, but I've never owned them. So I had to reread the Mortal Instruments series, 2 books in the Mortal Instruments series, because I have not read City of Glass yet. I'm planning on reading City of Glass after I read the other 2 because it's been months and months since I've read them, and I just need to catch up, and then I'll I'll read the last one that I got before I get the other three, because why not? So, here's this. So, Clockwork Angel, done with. And I'm going to read Clockwork Prince sometime coming up. It's on my to-do list. It's on my to-read list. The other two are on my to-read list, but still, there's that. I'll make an on my read list later. So, coming up next. So, that's all I can say about Clockwork Angel, because everybody and their grandmother probably knows the premise of this book. So, there's that. Up next is a book I've wanted to talk about forever in a day. Yes. It is a Marina Mosi book. Marina Mosi. This is a reread, but I read it in the month of August. So, yes, this is a reread book, and I've read it in the month of August. The name of this book is Mojitos with Merry Men, and it's part of a book series called The Timeless Novels by Marina Mosi. Muscosi? I'm never going to be able to pronounce that name. But this book, as you can guess, it is a modern girl relocated in time novel, because those are a thing, I guess. This is a girl who has a smartphone in Sherwood Forest. This is what this book is basically about. Smartphone, Sherwood Forest, falling in love with the legend. These are what this book is about. It is basically, the summary of this is: Carissa Haywood, a New York City fashion photographer and thoroughly modern gal, has never been one to swoon over fairy tales. So, when a mysterious gypsy tells Carissa that she is a gentle soul who would tame an outlaw's thirst for revenge, she's not totally convinced the woman is in a couple of beans short of a frappuccino. But when Carissa finds herself suddenly transported back in time to rescue her crazy coworker Kat, she's ready to believe anything is possible. If only she'd known she was going to meet her true love, a hottie in Sherwood Forest. Carissa would have worn better shoes. But it turns out Robin of Locksley, aka Robin Hood, isn't exactly Prince Charming. That bit about robbing the rich to feed the poor, he evidently hasn't got the memo. In fact, he's less folk hero and more brooding bad boy. Not to mention, he's not so merry men who are under the impression that Carissa is actually a boy. I mean, sure, she's not exactly stacked, but still. Nevertheless, Robin is loyal, brave, and handsome as sin. If Carissa could just get him with the program, he knows she could right his wagon and get these boys in the woods to be heroes of the realm, instead of twerps and tights. But if she's not careful, Carissa may find the Prince of Thieves stealing her heart. This is a this is a guilty pleasure book right here. Guilty pleasure all the way. This book right here is a guilty pleasure book. The other two are guilty pleasure books. I own the first one, but it's not by the same publishing house. The first one that I own is the old copy of the first book in the series. But yeah, I love this book so much. It is a laugh riot. That's all I'm gonna say, is that it's a laugh riot and a guilty pleasure book of mine, and it's never going to stop being a guilty pleasure book. So, very good long look. It's available on Amazon. That's all I'm going to say. You could buy this book on Amazon. Yeah. All the other books except for this one came from Books A Million. Yeah. And this video came from Books A Million or Amazon. Wherever books are sold, I think. Yeah. this book. Oh my god, yeah. This book is a contemporary novel. I don't usually go for these. But yeah, this book is this is the movie cover version of this book. This is the movie cover version of this book. Yeah. Duff by, how do you say this name? How do you say this name? Okay. But anyway, so yeah. I am not entirely convinced, but I love this book. It is a quick read. It is a fun read. For those of you who've seen the movie, you know what this book is about. For those of you who don't, well, here's the summary. 17-year-old Bianca Piper may not be the prettiest girl in her high school, but she's a loyal group of friends, a biting wit, and a spot-on BS detector. She's also too smart to fall for the charms of a man-slut and slimy school hottie, Wesley Rush, who calls Bianca the Duff, designated ugly fat friend. But things aren't so great at home. Bianca's desperate distraction ends up kissing Wesley. Worse, she likes it. Eager to escape, Bianca throws herself into a closeted enemies with benefits relationship with him. Until it all goes horribly awry, it turns out Wesley isn't such a bad listener, and his life is pretty screwed up too. Suddenly Bianca realizes with absolute horror that she's falling for the guy she thought she hated more than anyone. Yeah. I love this book. I've read it twice now. This time in August. I just finished it today. This time in August. I finished reading it the night I got it, which was in 2015. I want to say. It was in 2015, I want to say I got it in 2015, but I'm not sure. I want to say I got this in 2015, but I'm not sure. So, I haven't read this book since I got it in 2015 or 16. One of them. But it was years ago. Like, a couple years ago that I got this. So, there's that. And I love this book for how easy it is to read and how funny and witty the characters are. And I want the other two books on the back. I want these two books on the back right here because I know I'll like them because I like this book and they're probably more the same. But anyway, I'm a girl who loves more the same. But this is one of the two contemporary novels I own. One of the two YA contemporaries I own. YA contemporary romances I own. I own another one, but it's not in this list because I haven't read it in forever and a day. But I'm probably gonna read it some other time because whenever I read contemporaries, they refresh me against books that I'm reading now because supernatural books are okay, but supernatural and fantasy books are okay, but I just need a contemporary once in a while. And I've read some contemporary audiobooks. One of those contemporary audiobooks is All American Girl. Now this one is done, but I like to talk about a Audible book that I own that is a contemporary book that I read in this month. It's called All American Girl. It is by Miranda Cabot. Meg Cabot? Yeah. I've listened to two books by Meg Cabot this month. One of them is Avalon High, which is a retelling of the Arthurian legend from modern day perspective. And it is a fun book, fun ride. The performance of the audiobook is spot on, by the way. And the next book that I listened to her is All American Girl, which is a about a girl who saves the president's life and ends up dating the president's son, I guess you could say. That's all encompassing of the book. Because I'm not going to say anything more because it is early 2000s teenage trash. Because All American Girl is early 2000s teenage trash. Not that the book is trash, but like the characters and the setting is like early 2000s, so hard. It is the 2000 me that ever 2000. The writing and the talking of the characters is the most 2000 thing that ever 2000 in the 2000s. But yeah, that are the books that I've read or listened to in the month of August. And now, the books that I'm reading and rereading in the month of August. And I plan to read in the month of August. Hold on, I don't have them all with me. Ugh. It's starting out September. I'm going to read these books. I don't know how or when I'm going to. Yes, I'm going to finish reading. I'm going to read or finish reading books. Or rereads or finish what I started. So there's that. Sorry, I had to get things first up on my docket for reading in the month of September. Finish reading in the month of September. I started reading in August, gonna finish in the month of September, I hope. This one right here is a reread. One of my favorite books, The City of Bones. Now, I'm only 176 pages through this read of the book, and I'd love nothing more than to finish it before I get new books to read, but I'm probably not, because next week is my birthday, and either it's Christmas or birthdays that I get books, or special events that I get books, so yeah. The City of Bones is the City of Bones is the reason that I fell in love with Cassandra Clare. And it's going to be the reason that I'm staying in love with Cassandra Clare. Because before I finished Clockwork Prince, I got copies of City of Bones, City of Ash, and City of Glass. And before I could really get into the Clockwork Prince, I had to get myself hyped up for this. But this book is action non-stop. I guess this book sucked me in more than the Clockwork Prince did. So I'm rereading this book to be able to rereading this one, and City of Ash to be able to read City of Glass, because I didn't read it on my first two playthroughs because I had other books to read and I got caught up in other books. So there's that. So I'm gonna reread the first two in the series and then read City of Glass, because I've never read City of Glass. I've never read City of Glass or the other three books. So once I read City of Glass, I'm going to try to get City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire, but it all depends on what's on my to-read list and what's on my to-get list. City of the other three are not a priority until I read the first part of the series, so there's that. Next on the docket, Next on the docket, the book that that took me forever and a day to get almost. I'm not even sure where I am. Okay. This book right here, pain in my ass. Okay. This book right here is a pain in my ass. I love Game of Thrones. I love George R. R. Martin's writing. Don't get me wrong. But this book, sirs, ladies and gentlemen, I got this book in 2017 with the first three books in the series. I have a Game of Thrones, a Clash of Kings, and a Storm of Swords. I have not read the other two because I'm still on this one. And let me tell you, but I've had it for like almost 3 years now. And I am only on page 139. Only on page 139 after having it for 3 years almost. It's because of the changing perspectives, and I have to be in a mood. And because when I read Game of Thrones, when I try to read Game of Thrones, I'm never in the right mood for it. But whenever I do get some reading done in this book, I'm in a mood. Like, I'm in a mood for death, mayhem, tears, and oh my gods. Because Game of Thrones is the exact book if you're in the mood for vicious sons of bitches. If you're in the mood for vicious cunts and vicious bastards and sons of bitches that just need to die already. That's why I started reading it again in the month of August. I'm gonna try to get through it in the next few months because, as I said, you have to be in a mood to be able to read Game of Thrones. And I'm never in that mood for very long. And when I am in that mood, I usually read a couple of chapters of Game of Thrones when I'm in that mood, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and then I start getting really into it, and then I'm like, oh, I can't read this anymore because I'm not in the mood for it anymore. So Game of Thrones is going to be on my I'll get through it because I love George R. R. Martin's work, and I love to read the inspiration behind the show. And I love the show, so I want to read the inspiration behind the show. So there's that. The show is long. The books are long. All of season 1 in one book. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna read this. Somehow, some way, I'm going to read this and be able to read the other two. That is a resolution I'm going to make. Somehow, some way, along with learning how to drive. There's that. Moving on. I am rereading the book that one of the books that I'm rereading. One of the other books I'm rereading is a book I got in December of last year called Grim Lovelies. Now, I am reasonably sure that I'm in love with this author by Maggie Shepard. This book is by Maggie Shepard, and I'm reasonably sure that I'm in love with this author. I want to marry her and have her babies, but I probably can't because she's probably married. But I have a new favorite author, and it's Maggie Shepard. Because, dear God, I love her characters and setting. I'm going to be total, when the next book, if she makes another book, she makes this a series. Hopefully she does make it a series, but when she does finish this, when she gets a sequel to this book, if there is a sequel, please God let there be a sequel, I will read it in one day like I read this book. because I got so sucked into the characters and the world and her version of Paris that this book made me want to go to Paris so badly. Made me want to see and experience Paris so badly. This book made me want to see and experience Paris so badly. And I'm rereading it again because why not? It has all the things I love. It has magic. It has mystery. It's yay. I just love it so much. And I will continue to read this book. I'm not a fan of hardback books. I'm usually not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of hardback books at all because they're more expensive than their paperback cousins. But I wanted this book so bad, even though it jacked up the price of my books. But yeah, I usually try to get paperback versions of a book, but this book right here changed my mind about hardbacks, I guess. Not all hardbacks, but like, yeah. You are my friend, and some hardbacks are your friend and some are not. I've read some truly awful hardback books and that made me dislike hardbacks so much because hardback books are expensive. But this book right here made me say, oh, sometimes hardbacks are worth it. But yeah, sometimes hardback books are worth it. Are worth the price that you pay for them because, dear God, this book is, I need to stop raving about this book. But my favorite part of all this is, their catchphrase of this book is, steal the spell, keep the magic, beat the clock. Now that is something I can do. That is something I will love to do. This is a book I'm rereading in September. I started it in August, but I'm finishing it in September. Mark my words. Up next is a book that I started reading in December, but decided I couldn't finish reading it without the other books. Without the other books in this series, I can't, in good conscience, finish this book because it'll drive me effing insane if I don't have the others to plow through. If I don't have the Red Queen is a book that I legitimately, I got halfway through the book in 2 hours and 60 minutes. 2 hours and 60 minutes, I got to page 225 in that time. I was sucked into this book. I couldn't stop reading it until I realized, oh, I'm almost finished with this book and I don't have the others in the series. I'm a person that has to read an entire series or it will cripple me. Or it will cripple me. So, this book right here, I'm going to read in September because I'm hopefully going to get the other books soon. And if I don't, I'll just read this book until it falls apart. Yeah, that's my to-do. That's my finished in August and to read in September. So, there's that. Toodles. Thank you for listening to my rambling, I guess. Yay! Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, YouTube.